All right, good morning. Welcome to David's Deep Dive. Every Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. CST, I go live and I share with you topics that are really relevant to your life and to your business to help improve the quality of your life. And hopefully that improves your ambition, your drive, your desire, your commitments, the things that are really important in life today and for everyone. I wish you the best in everything you do. And of course, I try to bring the knowledge and the wisdom that I've been honestly not been blessed with. I've been gifted because before me have been so many people who have added and contributed and who have helped me to foster the ideas, the concepts that I deliver here. Just to be clear, I really don't have a lot of original ideas. I mean, I think a lot of them are original in nature because they're hashed together from different mentors, different books, different videos and trainings and courses and memberships and events that I've gone to over the course of my lifetime that have really compiled together to create what I have are the ideas that I share with you today. So today I'm going to do something really good because we are just a few days away from the new year. And I think this is the most important time for you and for me. And I'll tell you why. You see, I don't believe, well, inherently, I don't believe that we should wait till the new year to start a new journey. I don't believe that. Okay. And let me just click on this. I don't believe we should wait to the next year to start a new journey, to start a new plan, to start a new you, but it's in human nature. We've been trained, ingrained, and programmed over the years to just believe that the new year begins on January 1, and that's a new beginning for all of us. And in some respects it is. On the calendar, sure it is, but tomorrow and today is a new day. It could be a new year. Tomorrow, 365 days later, it'll be a new year, and so on and so forth. So let's not get very confused as to when New Year's begins. It's just typically that the calendar reflects a specific date. Now, the reason this is important to get is because anytime you want to make a shift or a change or to create or develop something new in your life, it can happen any day. But if you so choose to, like most of us, that includes myself, January 1 is the day. And as we approach that day, we have to attack it with a plan. And so I put the new you plan, not the new year plan, the new you plan. And it's AKA a 2022 plan. And we're going to go through some things that I've done over the years that have really helped me to solidify my plans and my ideas, my concepts, and to have change, because I believe every year should be better. Every year should not get worse. It should not stay the same. And in fact, if it is the same, then it is worse. So how do we do that? Let's go through this together today, okay? So what will like look? I don't even know how I did that. What will your 2022 look like? Sorry, this was me this morning putting this together. And if you think about it, what is your 2022 going to look like? And excuse this, but what is it going to look like for you? You know, many of us have had this idea that things are going to change, and that change is going to happen in a lot of areas. Let's actually go into that. So typically important areas of our life that we consider changes in are going to be health, they're going to be income, they're going to be relationships, they're going to be faith, they're going to be skills. And these are the actual most important areas of our life. You know, many people will wake up and say, okay, what am I going to do this year that's going to be different? So I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to try to make more money. I'm going to get really more committed to the relationships. I'm going to get deeper in the relationship with my significant other. I'm going to start going to church more, and I'm going to learn something that I didn't know before. I'm going to invest in cryptocurrency, or I'm going to get better at, learning architecture or something. You see how this is the mindset that we go through every year. Now, the problem with this, though, is that I just said a lot of things, and doing all those things is very overwhelming. I mean, it is very overwhelming. So what I like to think about things in order is to pick one or two areas and really attack those from the beginning. Don't attack everything. Like, it's very hard for you to say, I'm going to start eating nothing but chicken and veggies, because that's what everybody says, and salads. And then I'm going to definitely work 16 or 18-hour days. And, I'm going to spend the weekends with my wife and going to church. And every waking moment, I'm just going to go and I'm going to read about cryptocurrency. And we all know that your habits that you've had for years and years and years aren't just going to disappear overnight. And I don't mean there were bad habits. I'm just going to tell you the habits that have made you think differently and say, okay, gosh, I need to stop this. Like the habit of eating later, the habit of always eating bad, or the habit of not working out, or the habit of watching TV, or the habit of going and drinking beers on the weekends. Whatever those habits are, they are ingrained in you, and you can't just get rid of them from one day to the next. Now, maybe there's a few people in the world who could, and that's very few and far between. Those people are very small groups of people. And if you're one of those people, congratulations. But for the most part, many of us will struggle with these things. And because we will struggle with them, what I'd encourage you to do is start picking one of these areas, two of these areas, three of these areas, no more than three, and commit to them. But let me step back and actually tell you, some of you will pick the easiest to you. You'll say, well, I'll just pick a skill, I'll show up to church more, and I'll think about making more money. What I would tell you is to take the three that are probably the hardest for you now, because you want to challenge yourself in 2022. You don't want to make it easy. You don't want to make it easy at all. Okay. Usually, here's my story, and here's not my story. Here's my belief. I believe you should take on the things you don't want to do first. The things you don't want to do first. All right. So let's tackle this. So what needs to change? Again, sorry about this. What needs to change? And when I think about what needs to change today, I think about the things that I've been doing that I don't like doing anymore, or maybe I like doing, but I don't want to do anymore. So I think about the things that really build a bad David, not a good David, a bad David. Like I think about the things that I do wrong. Like I like to have drinks. I like to eat bad. I don't go to church enough. I haven't, believed that I should get up on, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. because I think I should sleep in. Like these are the things that need to change for me. And I know they need to change because they're not the things that I believe I need to have in my life to succeed, to achieve my health, or to achieve my goals and income, or to achieve my faith. These are things that I know I need to change. So what needs to change is what I want to change, right? Like, how am I going to change it? So I think about what I need to change, and then how will I change it? Now, I'm going to give you some examples of things that I've changed over the years, right? So how will it change? And how will you change it? Here's the question, right? How will you change it? Many years ago when I first started, I guess we'll call it my fitness journey, I really was one of those people who was just not a morning person. And I knew from just studying people who were very successful, from reading books about health and nutrition, from learning about exercise and its impact, especially in a fasting state, and burning calories. Like I learned all these things, right? And I read and I read and I read, and I didn't, that was part of my skill. And I learned that waking up early and going to the gym was very important. The problem was I was never a morning person. I was in the bar business when I really decided I think I needed to change my health. And in that bar business, I say bar is really the nightlife, the social life. And I was really getting out of the bar at 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning some days, depending on the workload after we closed. And by the time I can actually get home, lay down, and get to the gym, if I could do it, I would make an excuse. I'm an afternoon person. And so I would say I have to go after work. And this was my excuse. And so I started my fitness journey working out at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, like whenever I felt like it, whenever I had the time. And I knew that I should do it in the morning, but I just couldn't do it because I wasn't a morning person, or I didn't have the time in the morning, or I didn't have the energy in the morning. And I would make these excuses. And literally it was because I was staying later than I needed to in the bar. I would just stay later. Like I knew I could be done by 2 or 3 in the morning, but instead I would stay up and I would drink and I would hang out with people and I'd smoke cigarettes and I would do stupid stuff. And so what happened is eventually I came to the conclusion that this needed to change. And it didn't happen overnight. This literally took 3, 4 years of my life where I would work out in the afternoons, and you would see me at the gym in the afternoon. You'd see me at the and maybe even in the evening. And I told myself this is the cool time. So I would go at 5 o'clock to work out, and I would see all the cool people that really aren't in shape. Sorry to say that, but the cool people at the gym, because they tell themselves that they can't do it in the morning, so they do it in the evening. And it's just one of those things. And so when I saw this change, when I saw that I needed to change, how will I change it? What I did is I forced myself to go to bed earlier. And I literally forced myself. I told myself I can't do this anymore. and I would try to get home as fast as I could. I wouldn't stay late. I would focus on those things. I would start telling my bartenders and stuff, hey, look, you guys are going to close tonight. And like, this was a transition period that took me, I didn't do it overnight. Honestly, it was probably, I would get 1 or 2 days and I'd be like, nah, I'm just going to stay at the bar and drink a little bit later. I would get these cycles, and you will too, of what I'll call zig and zag. What I needed to change was I needed to change my health habit, and I needed to break that cycle. And the way I did it is I did a little research. I learned about what I needed to change. Then I made a plan to change it. And it was very difficult. And it was really difficult. So when I finally did that change, I started to work out at 10 in the morning, right? 10 in the morning, because 10 a.m. was when I woke up, because I was so tired. I would get up at 10. I'd show up at the gym. Nobody was there, because nobody works out at 10 a.m. except for retired people. So I'd see all the retired people at the gym. And then, I started to transition, and I said, okay, look, I got to get bar staff that can manage the bar, because I can't be there anymore. And so then I started to go home at 12, and then I started to go home at 11, and I started to go home at 10. And I mean, from the bar, so that I could start waking up earlier. And by the time I knew it, I was going to the gym at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Now that sounds like it could be early, but it really wasn't early. I get there, and that's when, moms that just dropped off their kids at school were working out. And they would get there, and you could see them all gossiping and having a good time and not really taking workout serious. This was a social activity. I mean, they would get in my way. I'd be like, gosh, these people are annoying. And so then, I finally decided there's got to be a better way. And I made it to 7. And at 7 o'clock, this was a great time, because it was that transition period between the moms who drop off their kids and the real serious people who like to work out. And 7 o'clock was great. I would go and I would get my workout in, but I just knew there was not enough motivation for me there. And so I finally freaking make it to 6 o'clock. And this is like over the course of probably 3 to 4 years. I finally make it to 6 o'clock, and I think I am awesome. Now, 6 o'clock actually sucks for working out. Let me tell you why. 6 a.m. is too late, right? And it's not early enough. So it's too late and it's not early enough. Let me tell you what I mean. 6 a.m. sucks to work out, because if you go work out at 6 a.m., by the time you're done at 7, you probably have to be somewhere, like drop off your kids. You probably won't make that. Maybe you got to get to work by 8 or 9. You're running late. You're rushed. You can't get breakfast. Like 6 a.m. sucks for working out. Okay. 5 a.m. is when I made it. And when I made that 5 a.m. commitment, which was about 5 years ago, was the biggest change in my life. Changed my whole life. Why? 5 a.m. became my time. It gave me confidence. It's when the real people who want to get serious about working out build, right? Literally 5 a.m. at the gym that I go to is the busiest time you'll go to the gym. Why? Because these are people who are serious about it. So how will I make that change? How will you make this change? And I ask you this because this was just a change for my health, okay? I can tell you countless stories about quitting cigarettes, changing my diet, talking, reading more, journaling, setting goals. Like all of these were epiphanies and changes that I had to make. So how will you make this change? And I encourage you to start thinking about how will you commit? You see, when I committed to my health, it wasn't really about me. It was about how do I perform for the world? You see, the commitments that I made when I decided to quit and staying up late, started to get up early and started working out, my commitment really wasn't for me. It was for the world. And let me tell you why. See, I committed for me at first. I said, I got to do this for me. But then I thought about, how do I deliver to the world? How do I show up? How much energy do I bring? Who needs my attention every day? Who needs my energy every day? Who needs me to show up at a high level every day? And that was my team. That was my family. That was my wife. That was the community. So I said, how will I commit? And my commitment was, I'm going to commit no matter what. How will I commit? I'm committing today. And so these are commitments I made to me and to my family. And if I were you, I'd be thinking health, I'd be thinking income, I'd be thinking skills, because the more skills you have, the more money you make. Very, very simple. The more health you have, the more energy you have. The more faith you have, the less fear you have. See that? The better relationships you have, the better you can do in the world. Because I know when I don't have a good relationship with somebody, it's very difficult for me to perform because I have those things on my mind. You see how this all ties together? How will I commit? How will you measure? Now, this is an important part. So I remember that I used to shoot to have measurements on my weight, and measurements on my weight was like the number one measurement that I always had. And it was like, I got to lose weight. I got to lose weight because I feel fat. I would always tell myself that. And this isn't just a metric about weight. I'm just going to use this as an example. When you measure something, it's the only way to determine progress. When you measure, it's the only way to determine progress. And if I had to rearrange that word, I would say it's not even a way to measure progress. It's a measurement of results. See, you can measure anything. You know, one of my early on teachers said, how do you measure your progress? And I said, I don't know. How do I do that? And he said, the first thing you do is to count. And he goes, look in your bank account, count the money. He goes, if you don't know where you're at today, count your money. That'll tell you how far you are. That'll tell you where you're at in life. Because if you don't like what that number is, then you've got a problem. So your measuring is literally tied to metrics, something you can measure. So you can measure weight, you can measure income, you can measure attendance, you can measure quality of life. And how do you do that? You actually put in check-ins. So here, I'll give you some things to think about. You should always check in once a week with your progress on anything. You should check in once a week. Did I make more money? Did I get more knowledge? Do I have a better quality of relationship? Did I lose more weight? Whatever that is to you. I mean, we can go on and on. And there's so much technology out there to do all this, by the way. There's technology to do everything. Like, I mean, I obviously know technology can't measure love and affection. So relationships may be a little different, but the way you measure it is in time spent. Is time being spent on these activities? Right? Are you seeing results in your health? Are you seeing results in your income? And the way you measure is through dollars, through pounds, through time. These are things that you can measure, and you should measure them once a week. You shouldn't wait 3 weeks. You shouldn't wait a month. Once a week. Now, not every day, by the way. Measuring your weight every day is going to be a very up and down roller coaster. Measuring your bank account is going to be a very up and down roller coaster. Once a week, measurement points. Okay. How will you hold yourself accountable? So one of the things that I did to hold myself accountable, and it's also a commitment, is when I got into fitness, and this was probably 10 years ago, maybe a little over 10 years ago, the first thing I did was look for a trainer. And because I said, there's no way that I understand this well enough. I would go to the gym. Maybe you're like this. If you are, please say, yes, this is me. I would show up to the gym and I wouldn't know what to do. So I would just randomly do things. I would randomly sit at a machine and push like this. And I would randomly get on a treadmill or an elliptical and I'd go like this. And I'd randomly go do some abs or some weird exercises. And if you go to any big gym, they have, oh, this is the cardio area, and this is the core area, and this is the strength area. And I would just walk through them. If that's you, please admit it, because I was that guy. Okay. I would randomly go from place to place. And I thought there's got to be a strategy for this, because I'm not, and I said, I'm not going to read about all this stuff if I've never done it before. And maybe you would never believe this or not, but I didn't play sports in high school. I wasn't an athlete. I didn't come from an athletic family. We weren't all into sports. I didn't have any, model to look at when I was growing up that said, David, this is how it's supposed to do it. This is how you're supposed to do it. So when I got to the age where I made a decision, I looked out and I sought out a trainer. I did not have the money. I had just started in my business. I was really young and immature. I was not making a ton of money. I mean, I had a little money, but I wasn't making a lot of money. And I didn't have a car payment at the time. And so this is actually a story I never shared with anybody, but I didn't have a car payment at the time because I had an old car. It was all beat up. I called it the piñata. Piñata, for those of you who aren't Mexican, is the paper mache, outline or whatever of whatever you like, your favorite movie character, and you go out there and you hit it with a baseball, well, not a baseball bat, with a stick, and there's candies in it. Okay. Well, I call my car the piñata because every corner of the car had a dent or a ding or missing paint. Like, I drove that car forever. Okay. Now, the reason this is important is because I drove that car so long that I didn't have a car payment. And so what happened when I wanted to do to the gym, I wanted to get a new car, but I realized that I didn't need a new car and I needed to get my health right. So what I did, instead of finding a new car, I found a trainer. And the trainer was $300 a month. That was a huge number, by the way. Huge number to me, but I didn't have a car payment. So I made a decision. I said, for the next year, I'm going to commit to working with a trainer. And let me tell you why this is important. I said, until I understand how to work out, I cannot get any car. So for 12 months, I worked with a trainer. And what I did, I didn't go. Most people go to a trainer, by the way. Most people go to a trainer. Listen to me. Most people go to a trainer to be worked out. Let me say that again, to be worked out. So the trainer says, pull, you pull. So he says, push, you push. Trainer says push up, do push up. Trainer says run, you run. And you're like a little machine. You just follow instructions. They give you a command, you go. I didn't go there with that mentality because I didn't have the money to do this. Like, I didn't have money to waste on training. So what I did is I went in and I said, I'm going to learn everything I can here. So when I showed up, man, I would show up and I'd be like, so why are we doing this movement? Why are we putting the weights on it? Why are we doing this set? Like, why are we doing only 3 sets? Why aren't we doing 4? Why aren't we doing more cardio? And I would ask, and the guy would get annoyed because I was like in it. I was, tell me this, tell me that. What muscle is worked out when I do this, right? Why are we using hammers instead of curls? How do I make this bicep bigger? Like I was so probably annoying, but I said, if I'm paying, I'm getting. And so that accountability was with the trainer. But let me tell you what I did. I made a commitment with my dollars. Once I made my commitment with my dollars, I got everything out of it. I made sure to extract so much value that I don't even know if I stayed a year. I might have even stayed 9 months, maybe 10 months. I'm going to guess. I don't remember. But once I felt confident that I could go to the gym and do this stuff myself, boom, I was out of there. I mean, I love the guy. He's still a friend of mine. In fact, I got to go deliver a book to him today. I hadn't seen the guy in so long, but he found me on Facebook. We were talking and I said, hey, man, thank you, and I'm going to take him a book. But here's what I'll tell you. I learned from them. I did not go to be worked out. So I had somebody to hold me accountable, and they would hold me accountable, but I could not hold myself accountable as well. Progress versus perfection. This is the big hindrance for most people who are in the pursuit of a goal. They say, if I don't do this perfectly, I'm not going to do it at all. So let's say for January 1, when you wake up hungover and full of food, and you wake up, it's January 1, which you're going to start your whole new life. It's the biggest plan of your year. You're like, new me, and you're hungover, and you're like, well, just let me get up, eat some really fat food. And then when I finally become sober or unhungover, that's when the new year begins. And in this case, by the way, the weekend happens. So Friday this year is the 31st and Saturday is the 1st. So most people will say, you know what, I'll take off the 1st and the 2nd and let's start for the 3rd because that's the real new year. So they're going to combine a Monday and they're going to combine a different day. Would you all agree with that? If you agree with that, please raise your hand because I know some of you are going to do that. And you're going to get to the 1st. And then what happens is you get to the 1st or the 2nd or whatever day you start, and you're going to eat good. You're probably going to go to the gym. You're going to feel real good about yourself. You'll make it 1 day, 2 days, maybe 3 if you're lucky. You get to the 3rd day and somebody brings a piece of pie in front of you and you're just like, yeah, I'm not into those pies anymore. I'm a different person. And then they're like, yeah, but here's the pie, and you're like, but I'm not into those things. And then they're like, just 1 piece, stop being like that, right? They're going to tell you, don't be that guy or girl, what do you think you are? You changed on me all of a sudden? Okay, I'll get the pie. And you eat the pie and then you're just like, oh, I ate the pie. Well, you know what? Give me another piece of pie. I already did it once. Let's just do it again and do the 2nd piece. You're like, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. Then you get home or you're at home, whatever it is. The next day you're like, well, yesterday I ate the pie. I guess I could eat some pancakes today. It's okay. And I already messed up, so I can mess up again. And then you do the cycle, right? Anybody been there? If you're there, please comment because I haven't seen any comments. But if you've been there and then you're like, okay, I'll eat good today. And then you get through the day, you eat 2 or 3 good meals and the weekend comes and it's like, oh man, anyways. So the cycle here is that progression cycle, which you want progress, not perfection. And many people will shoot for perfection. And so when they make a mistake, they're like, that's it. I'm done. I can't follow this. And maybe by 15 days in, if you even make it there, you have given up on whatever it is that you're pursuing. So here's the path. Many of us think that the path, what we would like to do with our lives, the money, the health, the faith, the skills, all of these things, we think it's going to be a straight up arrow. Like I am going to go from here to here. And we're going to do that because I have a plan. But the honest truth, success looks like the one on the right, which is it's going to be a jumbled up bunch of circles, squiggly lines, and everything in between, because this is what success is really like. This is what really holds people back, is that they think that it's supposed to be just A to B straight up. And we know from history, from our experiences, from our own lives, that you don't go from A to B straight up. You go from A and then you go negative and then you go positive and so on and so forth. It is so bad because many people, And by the way, actually, I can't even say negative. We go A, B, C, D, and then back to A, and then back to C, and then and so on and so forth. And the reason I say this is because progress never goes negative, right? Progress never goes negative. It's just a continuously wavy, circly, squiggly line. Anybody ever feel like this, by the way? They're always shooting for perfection, but it's really progress that we pursue. So now let's tips to take action now. So here's my tips. Write down your goals. What are those goals? It's your health goal. What's your nutrition goal? What's your income goal, your skill goal, the things that you want to change goal? What are these goals going to take place in your life? Okay. What are they going to be? What do they look like? What are they going to change in your life? What are you going to change in your life? Then I want you to create a plan. And how do you create a plan? It's very simple. So let me give you an example. Write down your goal. I want to lose 20 pounds. Create a plan. How do you want to do that? Right? Now, be detailed here because this is important. Telling me that you're just going to eat better isn't going to change anything. Eating better could be I eat less pie. I drink one less beer. You know, that's not a plan. A plan is literally, how am I going to achieve this? Okay, well, you need to know how many calories can you take in a day, right? How much sugar, how many carbs, how many proteins do I need to do? How much calories do I need to burn? That's a plan. Then you define that plan with success. So what does success look like? Well, by January 15th, I will have lost 3 pounds. By the 30th, I'll have lost 6 pounds, and so on and so forth. But many people will take this and say, okay, if I lose 20 pounds over the year, right? If I lose 20, that's only like 1.5 pounds a month. Let's just do that. You know, that's how people think about it. No, you don't have to take the whole year to create a plan, by the way. Define success. What does that look like? Find accountability partners. That could be a trainer. That could be somebody you pay. That could be a friend. Could be a spouse. Could be significant other. Could be a brother. Could be a sister. Could be somebody you care about. Coworker. Somebody should hold you accountable. You should never go into a year planning your goals and not sharing them with anybody, because then when you don't do them, nobody knows about it. Everybody should know about it. Everybody should know about your goals. That could be income. You can put on Facebook right now, I want to make over $1 million this year, $100,000 or $50,000. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to go to church every Sunday. I'm going to get closer in my relationships. I'm going to get a skill. And don't confuse skills with education. Just to be clear, I don't want to see anybody post on there they're going to go back to school and get some sort of degree, because that's total BS. Get a skill that matters today: marketing, sales, communication, technology, development of campaigns, like things like that. And then don't let yourself down. This is the big driver of everything. My coach, Michael Bird, always says confidence is the one thing that affects everything. And it really is true. Confidence is your ability to do the things you say you're going to do. That's how it's built. To do the stuff that you said you were going to do. And many people will let themselves down. And what that does, it diminishes your confidence. It creates a belief in your mind that you can't do what you say you're going to do. And because of that, you put your head down, your chest falls, and you feel like you can't or do or be the things that you want to be in life. And this is a huge hindrance into the success trap that I see every day, because so many people have the ability to do great things, but their confidence is just so low because years and years and years of unfulfilled promises to oneself. So many years of undelivered activities to the world that you said you were going to do. You told and promised yourself you were going to do better for your family. You told yourself you were going to lose weight for you. You told yourself you were going to lose weight for your energy level so that you can spend more time with your kids. You told yourself you were going to go to church and you didn't. You told yourself you were going to go and get that skill that you needed to upskill in your company. You see, you said all those things and you didn't do any of them, because many of you can already look back at 2021, and we're not even over with it, and say, I didn't hit that goal because I said a few things and I haven't hit them. It's kind of weird, but it's interesting how it's very hard for us to hit those goals, but it diminishes, it demeans you, it makes you feel bad, it hurts your feelings, it keeps your head down, and it makes you not want to do the things you want to do in life. So don't let yourself down. It is the most important thing. So Anybody have any questions or want to give me some feedback real quick? Connect with me if you can, some way, shape, or form. You can do that through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. And get my book. If you haven't given my book, it's a great way to start the year. It's a great way to start the year. Let me end here with a story. Let me see who's on here. If you're on here, please say something, because I don't like quietness. Is that a quietness a word? I don't know if I just made that up, or silence. There you go. That's a good. That's me. Yeah, eat the frog. Thanks, man. I got you. Glad you got the analogy. So I'll end with this quick story. And if you're here, thank you so much for being here. Here's the quick story for you. When I understood that the way that we attack a year is truly related to how we plan it, it changed my whole life, because for so many years, I didn't plan anything. For so many years, I just expected things to change. Like I just expected my income to go up. I just expected my health to change. I just expected, because these expectations come honestly from, I don't know, we'll call it the world, the media, the world says things should just get better for you. And the real truth of this is that things won't get better until you get better. Things won't get better until you get better. And the way that you make those things better is through planning, commitments, accountability, measurement. And I didn't know that. I that's why I preach this stuff. I mean, I say preach because it's really sometimes how I feel like I'm doing. I didn't know any of that stuff. I would just show up to the day and hope that it got better. I would get to the end of the day and say, gosh, I'm glad I got through that day. You know, I'm so glad the day is done. I'm glad the weekend is here. I would say those things over and over and over again. I would wake up hungover from the bar and just say, gosh, I hope tomorrow is better, you know, or today is better than yesterday, and so on and so forth. And it is the worst feeling in the world to not see progress in your life, because it diminishes your confidence and it doesn't allow you to achieve the things that you want and you deserve and you have in you. It just like, it doesn't allow those things. And I blame myself for so many lost years because I didn't do the research to find this out. Like I didn't invest in me. In 2022, I'm going to invest in me heavier than I've ever invested before. And I hope you do too. And I hope that's through your commitments, through your activity, through your money, because any investment that you want to produce a return has to be invested in. If you want something to produce a return, you have to invest in it. Like you don't just make money in investments because, well, first off, you won't have any investments unless you invest in it. Like you have to put money into something, time into something, or energy into something to get a return. Time, money, or energy. Time, money, or energy get invested into something to get a return. Time, money, and energy, okay? You are your biggest investment. So are you investing time in yourself? Are you investing money in yourself? Are you investing the energy in yourself, or you're not? And in 2022, I encourage you to do that all. Like go all in, invest in you more, put up more money, put up more time, put up more energy in you, because you are the decider. You are the only reason things are going to change is because of you. So I encourage you to make a plan, to craft it. If you want to get a copy of this presentation, just shoot me an email. I'll send it to you. I have not seen, just to be clear, I have not seen a year that has been the same in my whole life, because every year has progressively gotten better through planning, through actions, through steps, through the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. That's what the definition of success is. The progressive realization of a worthy ideal is exactly what I see every day. The progressive realization of a worthy ideal, an idea, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. I say that again because it's really important that you understand that's the definition of success. And your pursuit of success is your pursuit of your potential. Don't hold yourself back. Get into the game. Get on it. I wish you guys a phenomenal, amazing, outstanding, incredible, right? The best year you've ever had in your life is going to come because you planned it, not because it happened to you, because you planned it. So go out and create, plan, craft, and then deliver. Guys, God bless you guys. Happy New Year, and we'll talk soon. I'll see you next week in 2022. Bye-bye.